Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to today, Tuesday, November 7th, 2023, Board of Selectmen's meeting. This meeting will be broadcast live and recorded by Foxborough Cable Access. If everybody would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. Anybody here for citizens input? Big, huge crowd. No one's here for citizens input. That's awesome. So we're going to go right to our next agenda item, which is not on the agenda, but we're going to go next on it anyway. We got a presentation by Margaret Chasen and Sue Collins from the Foxborough Commission on Disability.
Okay. If I can have Karen Keeling up first. And you can sit right here. Okay. Sorry, guys, this smells.
Welcome. I'll just have you guys reintroduce yourselves.
Right. So I am Sue Collins. I'm chair of the Foxborough Commission on Disability. And with me is...
I'm Margaret Chase. I'm the vice chair.
Okay. So just to give you a little recap about what the Foxborough Commission on Disability is, we give everyone, we promote equal access to community life and activities for people with disabilities. We work with the town of Foxborough to promote awareness and education about the needs and rights of people with disabilities. So this is our annual award, Above and Beyond Award. I think this is our 7th year. I was counting. And we try to honor an individual and a business that goes above and beyond to help people with disabilities. So this year, the business we want to honor is Cumberland Farms of Foxborough. The manager is Karen Keeling, and Karen currently has 2 employees, is that right?
Recently only one, but
okay.
Only within the last few weeks.
Okay. When I talked to her, there was 2. And she told me that these 2 were the most reliable and enthusiastic workers in her store. And you also told me that you have a child with a disability,
I do.
Special needs, and she told me when she hopes her daughter grows up that her employers will recognize her child's positive traits and not focus on any negative stereotypes. So with that, we are going to present a plaque that hopefully you will proudly display on your store.
Absolutely,
and,
thank you.
We thank you for our 2023 award.
Thank you. And on behalf of Cumberland Farms, I just want to graciously accept this from our community.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
So next is Margaret. We'll talk about the our Hearn United.
So our individuals award this year is going to a group of educators from the Ahern School. Barbara Gemba, Kim McDowell, Melissa Henry, Julia Scheibler, and Karen Frazier. This group of educational professionals organized and implemented a unified sports program at the school. Unified Sports joins people with and without disabilities on the same teams. The program is inspired by a simple principle: training together and playing together is a quick path to friendship and understanding. Students with disabilities are often left behind when it comes to athletic opportunities. Creating this program has opened up new avenues for all of the students. The Ahern Middle School was also awarded the prestigious title of a Unified Champion School by Special Olympics because they offer a range of inclusive programs to the school community. Unified Sports, Friendship Club, World Kindness Day, whole school inclusive events such as pep rallies and inclusive student leadership. And the goal is for social inclusion through shared sports training, competition, inclusive youth leadership opportunities, and whole school engagement. And I'll let them tell you a little bit more. They've actually just come from a unified sports event.
Nice. Okay, so And then after they say their things, we'll have Senator Feeney. I get so nervous. And then Representative Burrows will present their citations. So maybe have
So
a
with the-
seat right there.
Absolutely.
And then we'll have 5 people come up. We have... Maybe I can borrow a chair. So we have 5.
I'll take the look.
With that?
It's comfy.
If you need that, or if you need to, that's fine.
Okay.
So we have awards for each of you. Barbara,
Thank you.
Julia,
I'm over here. Thank you.
Melissa, and Karen. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about the whole program?
So we started our program last year with unified basketball, and it was fantastic. We had
35
35
players.
students, players, so typical and non-typical students, and it was great. The whole school was involved. We had pep rallies during our home games, which we had maybe 3 or 4 of them. Our stands were always packed with students and families and teachers.
We had the fan bus.
Yeah, we had a
We had
fan
fan.
for our away game. We brought it
filled an
in.
entire fan bus to Franklin.
That's great.
That was awesome.
And then this year, we started a unified bocce program, which we had our first tournament today in West Bridgewater, which was just
It was awesome.
awesome. It was fabulous. The kids had a ball. And so we do start basketball again, but that's not till March. So on the way to Bridgewater, you know, there was 4 coaches, and we were just thinking, okay, what are we going to do with our kiddos from now until March? So we are setting up a program where every other week we'll be either doing a sports activity, an arts and crafts activity, a cooking activity, which I think the kids will truly enjoy.
Will you invite me when you do a cooking?
I will.
Okay, all right.
And so, one thing we also discussed was that we want to have T-shirts made, but we have a lot of our students are fabulous artists. So we're going to pose to them, what does unified sports mean to you? And have them each draw something. And we're going to take a little bit of each of their drawings, and we're going to ask our 7th and 8th grade art teacher, Steve, to help us put it all together and make T-shirts for all the kiddos.
Awesome.
I know I have middle schoolers, and it's really tough to get anything out of my son about what happens at school, but, you know, came home and just so excited about those basketball games last year. Like, it just seemed like it really created a culture in the school with everyone coming together and kind of cheering everyone on together. So it seemed like a positive event for everyone who even didn't participate as well.
It is, and on the other side of that, so you've got a child participating as a typical child, so I'm recognizing a lot of faces here. Most of them know Harley at one point or another. I just want to reiterate, if people at home don't know, if you do have a child with a disability, Foxborough is a fabulous, the school district in Foxborough is so good to the families, to the kids, and I mean, as far as, so Harley's moved on to a residential piece, but with that, I heard Kim McDowell's name. Kim walked us through everything towards schools, she took all the notes for us so we could just pay attention. So it's always fabulous, but I will say that when the Special Olympics that day, when Holly was at the IGO, at the time Mike Stanton was the principal there, he sent the entire fourth grade to North Attleboro. And we participated in the kids with their peers at the high school, a rally for them before. So, it's so good for the kids with disabilities, the typical kids. It teaches them such compassion. And, we're all out in the community, bravo to Cumberland Farms. I shop a lot at Shaw's and Sharon there, and right now, Harley, the league school, he's working at a farm, doing some digging, playing with a lot of the dirt. But, I mean, there's a place, a working environment for all these kids, no matter, how severe the disability is. But Foxborough's a special place. It truly is, for the parents, for the whole community, and I applaud you all for everything you've done, whether it was for my son or the other kids in town. And, like your son is so excited, to see a whole fourth grade screaming out your child's name and all the children as they're participating, it's phenomenal. So bravo to all of you. And I do see Amy here. It starts from the top, works its way down. So congratulations for your award. It's well-deserved, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else want to?
No, I'll just chime in and say as principal of the Ahern, I'm just really proud of all the work that our staff is putting into making sure that our school is really a fully inclusive environment for all kids, and that we're celebrating the strengths that every kid is bringing to us. So.
I'd like to chime in one thing,
Yeah,
if that's
please.
okay. I just want to say that since the start of last year in March, with the unified sports taking off, I want to just give the other students in general ed a little bit of credit of being so accepting and coming and giving these games a chance, because they're not the typical game. Not everybody's going to be following the rules, but they embraced it, and I want to say that for my students in particular, that season changed their lives for the better. They are talked to around in the hallways now, as opposed to being looked at and walked by or just ignored. They're getting the recognition that they deserve. And so I just wanted to say thank you to the other participants as well.
Awesome, great. Congratulations, outstanding.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, come to a game.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The whole month of March.
The whole month of March, yeah. And I mean, you mentioned a second ago, Dr. Bertos is here, and how proud are you of this group of,
Under Karen Frazier's leadership and all of these fabulous educators.
Yeah.
Our kids are in great hands.
they are. Awesome, thank you. Thank you very much for all you did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
At this point, yeah.
yeah,
Senator-
you guys sit,
Senator Feeney and
Yeah.
Representative Barrow.
and they like being in front of podiums anyway, so. There's just no seal in front, sorry.
You got to do a picture after, too. Don't forget that.
Well, congratulations. Thank you to Cumberland Farms for the work that you're doing. And Foxborough is a very unique place, and you're all leading our whole area and what you've done. And the work is exceptional. And it's just reflecting back over a number of years that I've served, we've come a long way. And we couldn't do it without the Disability Commission and your recognition and out there looking and seeking and finding and bringing a lot of people along with you. So, Amy, congratulations with your leadership, and to all of you for what you've done. We've got very limited edition proclamations from the House of Representatives. I won't bore you with mine. He loves to read. So I'll let Senator Feeney go.
Thank you. That just means the rep didn't bring his glasses. So. We get to know each other a lot in this business. I am once again blown away, and I want to thank the commission for your work. not only for advocating every day as you do for so many things, but for recognizing those in our community that are so deserved the recognition, including the people that are with us here tonight getting these awards. I have the honor of representing many communities, many constituents, and I got to tell you, being from Foxborough, I say it often, but it really is, as Selectwoman McGowan said, a real special place. The work that you do, and Dr. Burdos and the school team, just empowering students, nurturing the whole child, making sure that we're giving them some value and some self-confidence, I think is what makes Foxborough such a special place, and the work that you do so valuable to each of you that are getting the awards tonight, and Cumberland Farms as well, for doing this. This is, as we do this every year now, thank you, Margaret and Sue, always in November, always when we're coming up to Thanksgiving, and the gratitude that both myself and Representative Barros have is just incredible for all the work that you all do. So congratulations to the award winners. The rep and I were talking that we would love to have the students up to the State House at some point. If you want to come up and visit, maybe something to do in
They
those
would love that.
months. Come into the State House. We'd both love to hang any artwork. So if you have students that are doing artwork and we want to display it in the State House, we'd love to do that as well. So we can talk about that afterwards. I also have citations from the Massachusetts Senate. I'll read one of these. The House and the Senate both have one for each individual. This one is for Cumberland Farms, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, State Senate. Official citation being known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Cumberland Farms in recognition of receiving the Foxborough Commission on Disability Above and Beyond Business Award. This one is signed by our Senate President, Karen E. Spilka, and offered by a very proud and grateful State Senator Paul Arfini. Representative Barros has one from the House, signed by Speaker Mariano, and offered by himself as well. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
You did a great job last year.
Yes.
Can I just have Karen Keeling and the manager and one of her employees come up with you and
Yeah.
get a photo op?
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right.
Can I grab it?
How are you?
Good.
Good to see you. What's your name?
Devlin.
Devlin? I'm Paul.
And my pronouns are he, him, and his.
Okay, I am he, him, and his as well. It's good to see you.
I see you.
Devlin.
Jay.
Everyone knows Devlin.
Taylor Swift fan.
Yep.
I'll give you this one.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Good
All
work.
right, if I could just, can you come up and start this way?
Here we go. We'll go right here, Devlin.
All right, great.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
And then with the teachers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Four
okay.
teachers?
Yeah, the teachers. Yeah, that'd be great.
We're very dressed.
You're in your work clothes, your uniform. You just came from my bati.
Envelopes are overrated.
Julia? Karen?
Nice to see you back.
You, I think, can you just
I know it's
double
been
check?
back for a little while, but good for you.
Melissa, that's for you. Barbara, you're welcome. And you can all have the envelopes. Do I have one more? I think I'm missing somebody.
Yes, she doesn't want to be here tonight. I have.
Julia.
You can make sure.
Here you go. Thanks, Julia.
Oh, yeah, you can open them. Okay, you ready? All right.
Congratulations.
Very much.
Yeah, great job, thank you.
All right.
All right, next on the agenda. That was a great presentation. Thanks, Rep. Thanks, Senator Feen. Use of public way and town property application. Lighting Uptown. Oh, there's Renee.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Take one and pass it
That's a
down.
tough act to
I thought
follow.
we drew a big crowd.
I know.
We'll just wait a few seconds till everybody
fine.
leaves the room.
Thank you. Those are uploaded as well.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Wow, tough thing to follow.
I know, seriously.
Right?
I'm only lighting up town.
Right, jeepers.
All right, we ready?
All set, Renee, yeah.
All right. I'm Renee Tosi. I'm the Director of Recreation, and I'm here to talk about lighting Uptown, which became 20 times the size as it was for the past 20 years. Last year, we lit the entire Common. We ended up closing Central Street and a little part of South to make it a big event. This year, it's going to be even bigger. Last year we had, on Central, we had 3 vendors. This year we have 22. If you look at the backside of your flyer, you can see all the different vendors. So we're super excited about that. There's a bunch of different events, and every day, Mark and I are getting emails, hey, can we participate? Can we do this today? The Foxborough Cable Access reached out about doing, an event at their place. So it's going to be all the way up Central. You can meet Santa at Barrows. You can go in and do a holiday recording at the Cable. All the way up. It's going to snow. There's going to be a blizzard coming off of Foxborough House of Pizza. So it's going to be super fun. And there's been a lot of advertising, which has been great. The flyer that I just handed out went out in the Halloween treat bags to that mass of people. And then they also went home in all the backpacks from all 3 elementaries plus the Ahern. So pretty much the whole town should know about this by now. Another really super fun thing that we did this year for the BIT auction, we auctioned off the experience of lighting the tree with Pat Patriot and Santa. So the winner was Eric Belcher. So his parents had bid on it, so he'll be the one helping light the tree. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, so we're closing Central from Wall all the way up to the Common, and then turning right onto South, similar to the Halloween parade route that was there. We're going to have a dance performance on South Street right in front of the pizza. And again, like I said, the vendors all the way up. There's going to be crafts and whatnot at the library. Bethany Church is doing something. There's going to be a craft fair at the Senior Center from 10 to 2. So there's a lot of really fun events and a lot of community engagement. So we're really excited.
And those of us that were there last year, what I found remarkable was how many young families were
Yeah.
there. It was a great turnout with young families, yeah.
If the weather could just, work for us.
There is no rain or weather date, right?
There is no.
It's a one or done, so
Rain or shine?
Yeah.
this is it.
Unfortunately, if it rains, it'll be a smaller event, but.
Yep.
But it's not going to rain.
It's not gonna rain. We're gonna be
It
fine.
rained every Saturday for however long. We're done. No more rain.
Will the DPW trucks close the street too?
Yes,
I think
yeah,
that
yeah.
last
So
year,
they'll
okay.
block,
Okay.
they'll be right where Wall and Central, and then the same coming out of South
Okay.
here, they'll put a truck.
All right. Great. Well,
Excited.
Can't wait. I know.
All
Can't
right.
wait.
Pretty awesome. So it's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, November 25th. Basically, there's stuff going on all day. I know the JCs do the setup of the Common from like 9 to 12, and then we'll be up there. They are putting up the lights this week. I did see when I was driving home today that some of the businesses, I think Barrows was one of them, was getting their lights today too. So some of the local businesses could get the same company to do their lights to kind of make it all blend together.
That's great.
Any questions? Great.
Save the date, though. You gotta come.
Save the day, right?
All right, move to approve the use of public way and use of town property for Foxborough Recreation's Late Uptown event on November 25th. Now, is it from 4 to 7 or 3 to 7? It says 3 to 7 here, but 4 to 7 on the
So we're
flyer.
closing the street
Okay,
so they can set
okay.
up, because there's gonna be all sorts of things where people are going to have to set up
Okay.
on the street. So closing is from 3,
Okay.
but the event will start at
All
4.
right, from 3 to 7. Thank you for clarifying.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Looking forward to it again
Awesome.
this year.
Great job.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. All right, change of manager application.
I think they're on
So
Zoom.
is that,
I think they're on Zoom.
they're on Zoom. Oh, there you go. How you doing?
Great, how are you? Mr. Chair.
Nope, a little louder for us. You on mute?
Can you hear us, Mr. Chair?
No, it's very, very little. Little,
Do you want to introduce what it's about first?
yeah. All right, so we've
Now.
got a change of manager application, the Colwen Management Company, the Resistance Hotel, Renaissance Hotel at Patriots Place, and the Hilton Garden at Patriots Place. So you want to let us know what, who's being changed?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, okay. Glad we could figure that out. So I apologize for that. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Tom Miller before you again, representing the licensee in this application. I'm joined by Mr. Farouk Rajab, who is the proposed manager. Just to get this stuff out of the way, he is a U.S. citizen. He is TIP certified. He is experienced in hotel management and the food and beverage industry. He's familiar with the laws of the Commonwealth, the rules and regulations of the ABCC, and this board for the sale and service of alcohol. He has been in hotel management and operations for more than 30 years, managing for more than 20. He's held positions from bar manager to regional director and supervised different types of hotel operations, including those serving alcohol. As part of that role, he was a tips trainer for more than 10 years. He is on site at this location more than 40 hours a week. He often spends his evenings checking out the quality of the establishment by staying over, so he is there when the staff and services need him. He understands the responsibilities of operating both a hotel and a licensed premise here in Foxborough and in this type of environment. As part of transitioning to this location and undertaking these responsibilities, he has also reached out to Tom at Fox Cares and connected with them and is looking forward to taking an active role in that group. We want to thank you all for hearing this application tonight, and we're happy to answer whatever questions you may have.
You've done this a few times now, so yeah, I mean, you checked off all the boxes already. But from the board, any questions?
Well, does he want to introduce himself?
Yeah, please, sorry. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Of course, can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, good evening. My name is Farouk Rajab, and I'm, privileged to be working in Foxborough, and I consider it my second home. And I'm just want to say thank you to the group here tonight for giving me the opportunity to be in front of you. And I'm sure you're very proud of that presentation that just happened. So, great school system makes for a great community. So. I'm sorry that I'm not there with you in person, but I'm glad that we're be able to speak via Zoom tonight. And I'm happy to take any questions from you about myself or the work I do.
From the board?
I had some questions, but Tom covered them about him being on property, for 40 hours a week and such.
Yeah, Dennis?
No, everything looks in order, really.
Yeah.
Good.
Seth? Yeah, I mean.
Yep. All right.
Yeah,
Ready for a
easy
motion?
enough. Tom answered all our questions before we got to ask him.
All right, so motion to approve the change of manager application for Colwen Management, Inc., doing business as Renaissance Hotel at Patriot Place and Hilton Garden Inn at Patriot Place, 28 Patriot Place, from Kenneth Levine to Farouk Rajab.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, welcome.
Luck.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, so next on the agenda is just the town licensing discussion. You were just sent a review of the matrix.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure that, as we finalize this, we had the various department heads review it, and you've all seen this before, I know that, but we wanted to get ready to go live with this and put it on the website, so wanted to give the board a last chance and sort of, you don't need a vote or anything, but just last chance to know that it's now available. This is where it's going to be, and we'll get it up on the website. And again, as we mentioned before, we will work towards activating it so there actually are links. It might take us a little time to do that as we transition, but that is our goal, is to get this not only just a static document, but a working document that can be used by all the users that look for this information.
I think it's a great job putting this together. It really brings it all together. It's scary how much we're responsible for, though. But it's a great job.
I think that's what Seth wanted to get a handle on.
That was.
And I'd be remiss to not mention Katie's role in this. I mean, I'm talking about it, but Katie's done all the work. So hats off to Katie for this one. She carried this project, and so she's quietly over there, but she did it.
And it's funny, when we brought this up, I don't know if you noticed, I looked to Katie.
Yeah, you did.
Because we knew she did all the work.
Exactly, so.
All right, any other thoughts? I think it's exactly what you were looking for.
Yeah, I appreciate all the work. It's, it is what we're looking for. It documents the various licenses that the teams are responsible for. It identifies roles and responsibilities, and it's just going to get better from here. So thanks to all the teamwork. It was a good effort.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
And again, it's a living document, so if we need to change anything, bring it to Katie's attention. All right, great. So next up on the agenda, catching up quickly, tax classification hearing.
And this one does have a public hearing, so we just need to have a motion to open the public hearing as well.
Do you have to read the notice?
Sounds like we don't need to read the notice.
No, not anymore. It used to be that it had to be advertised in the paper, but it doesn't anymore. So I would just open the hearing for the tax classification discussion.
All right, so motion to open the public hearing, motion to open the public hearing for a tax classification hearing.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? There you go. Good. There you go.
Tom Welch, Chief Assessor. This is Dan Smith, board member. And we have other finance people here.
Lots of finance
Other
people.
finance people.
You all back there.
You'll see them later. Someone got the slides?
It's the clicker right in front of you. If you just click to the right.
You can't, you better put the microphone in front of you.
Mr.
sure you
Beck's
don't
bringing
load
it
it
up
up?
Doesn't
now.
Paul have the slides too usually?
Yeah. You want me to do it for you?
Sure, why not? One less thing.
So I'm Marie, the finance director, and in charge of the clicker.
Someone has
Is that in your job description?
I did it last year. I forgot he asked me to do it this time around too.
We're just waiting for the slides to get loaded.
Okay.
Yep.
I assume everybody's got the PowerPoint that looked at it and reviewed it. and-
In that great fact sheet. Someone-
Yeah, that was.
Marie put that together, so
That was really helpful.
It helped me learn a lot of this too. So usually I leave it to Tom, but.
All right, here we go.
All right, so it hasn't, it's pretty similar to what we did last year. We just updated the statistics and the changes in the market, and obviously all the valuation changes because of everything is going up, as you may or may not know. So the purpose of the tax classification hearing is to set the minimum residential factor for the town, which will determine the shift of the tax burden between the residential and the commercial classes, also known as setting the split rate for the town or the shift. The select board should also vote the following options: the open space exemption, residential exemption, small commercial exemption, and as we said, the minimum residential factor. So the options are the open space exemption, which shifts up to 25% of the value. It's not recommended, as this program is already addressed with the chapter land program with the various options for forestry, agriculture, and recreation. It shifts up to 25% of the value to the residential class, increasing that tax. Only one of 351 communities have that option.
Hold on just a quick sec. Can't go to the next one?
It keeps freezing up, so.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
The presentation is loaded on board docs. If that.
Yeah, I think just for people at home though, to follow along.
Yeah. That froze anyway.
So the one you just went over was the open space?
It's slide 3,
Okay.
I believe.
Yep.
My eyes are,
You're correct.
right, my glasses.
Here it is.
Yeah, I'm happy to go through it without the PowerPoint if we have to.
Yeah, we'll give it one more minute, and then,
I've done it in the past without PowerPoint. So
Yeah.
you guys follow along with the,
Yeah, we have it here. I think we just want people at home to be able to
Right.
follow along as well.
Yeah, it's very well done and very well organized.
thank you.
It's really a nice job. It makes it really easy to follow.
Try to make it as clear as I can.
Yeah, very clear and
Layman
understandable,
terms.
and then we can make the votes, and it's, pretty straightforward.
Than what we had in the past.
Yeah, so I've heard, yeah.
I actually needed a little help, Dennis. I was talking to Marie and Tom today because I'm a little slow. I couldn't follow it, so I was like, I needed a little help, but they got me there.
Oh, okay.
I think
They were-
Tom
they were
really
very
educated
patient
us
with me.
last year too, so now this year was a little easier.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually,
it's
remember
more or
it
less
from
the
last-
same, and then it's changed in the numbers and
Yeah.
in the market trends and things like that, so.
right.
Still the one thing I struggle with every year, from AdCom on. For some reason, it doesn't always, like, I really have to pay attention.
Yeah, well, the shift at the end is your decision, that's the
Yeah.
thing. You try to just give you a reasonable recommendation on that.
Well, all we're really doing is moving some of the tax off of the residential onto commercial. And this
There you
year-
go. Yep, page 3.
Okay.
But I didn't know that until today.
Okay, thank
I
you.
mean, I did generally, but
All right,
Can you just start over? I know you did that
Yeah,
one, but
all
just
right,
if you don't
that's
mind.
So these are the additional shifts on the tax rate. The open space exemption, you can shift up to 25% of that value. It's not recommended as the program is already addressed with the chapter land program with options for forestry, agricultural, and recreational land. Shifts up to 25% of the value to the residential class, increasing the residential tax rate. One of 351 towns have that option. The residential exemption, up to 20% shift of average assessed value, shifts the tax burden between the different values, between lower priced homes to higher priced homes. Application of this option is in major cities and Cape Towns with seasonal properties. 18 of 351 municipalities have that option. The small commercial exemption is up to 10% shift of assessed values, requires extensive analysis of business operations, less than 1 million in value and less than 10 employees. For small business, and would not help those leasing a business space, as the exemption goes to the property owner. Also, the other commercial industrial class would have an increase in taxes. 14 of 351 municipalities have that option. Foxborough has never implemented these additional shifts, and the Board of Assessors has voted to recommend to decline these options. Next. So this is just a chart indicating the classification of the property, and the trend is that the residential property is increasing. Not, it doesn't increase drastically, but it's a percentage point or a half, about 0.8 of a point. So the residential value is going up and the commercial value is going down a little bit. Personal property goes up and down a little bit, but doesn't change that much.
what is personal property, Tom? What is that? What's in that number?
Personal property is business personal property, like manufacturing, machinery in the conduct of daily business, anyway from a big company like Mass Electric all the way down to somebody that has a computer and office equipment.
Is that the same one from town meeting that we voted on?
Yeah,
Okay.
you guys just voted to expand that up to $5,000 exemption so people wouldn't be taxed.
I have
Anything.
personal property in my office with computer,
Okay.
tables.
So this is just a show what the surrounding communities that split on the assessed values, where they are, and as you can see, this is from last year. Foxborough didn't quite hit the 80% mark, where this year they did. And you can see like Norfolk and Sharon are highly residential towns. They're over 90%.
So Tom, that's $3.8 billion of assessed value, right?
Total, yeah, for the entire.
Dollars.
All
Okay, so it's like
classes.
all the, all the assessments combined for all of the properties and personal property and everything.
And that was for last year. It's higher this year, obviously.
Right.
So the tax levy is the amount of community raises through the real estate and personal property tax. The tax levy limit is in this chart, depicted in this chart here, which takes last year's levy limit, adds the 2.5% per Mass General Law, and the growth to come up with the levy limit total. This is just depicting the changes over time, and it's a 4.5% increase from last year. We're in an interim, our last year interim year certification before next year, FY '25, which will be, they'll actually be starting in February '24. We have hired a consultant to come in. It's a rigorous valuation of all properties, especially commercial property. But for this year, the median increase for residential sales was 10% for single families and 14% for condos, and commercial industrial increased by 3%. So that's still a pretty large spike for 1 year, 12% on the residential. Last year was 15%. The year before, I think it was like 7%. So the residents are getting, and it's based on the market value. I mean, things are going up. So our inspection program is 99% complete. When I got here, it was only 68%, but it's been 3 years. We had to ramp that up to meet our state requirements. We've done that, and we'll be on target for next year. As far as the trends in the market go, we did talk about that a little bit, but the activity actually is really down for a real estate market right now because of the mortgage rates. The interest rates are really causing people not to buy or not to sell because they have to get into a higher interest rate, and they don't want to do that. So this is just a couple of articles that I pulled. And one thing that is interesting is the prices are remaining strong, and obviously supply and demand has something to do with that. This chart just shows the changes over time in the average values. What I wanted to focus on this one was the average sale price, which incredibly has gone from $475,000 in 2018 all the way to $700,000, believe it or not, for 2024. Where it's going to go from here, I think it's somewhat leveling out, but I don't know. I haven't looked at all the sales for this year, but we'll be looking at that in the spring. I think it's somewhat leveling off, hopefully. The new growth, we had another good year in new growth. There's a lot of activity in town, a lot of construction. The larger buildings, including 29 Wall Street, is just finishing up. They have a small retail component left. And you had 44 School Street, which is building a good-sized apartment building behind that as well. And then we had 10 new houses and 14 condos. So there was a lot of activity. And plus, we had that inspection program, which is picking up a lot of new growth on the residential side, and people doing additions. They're improving their properties constantly.
Tom, what does that 35.7 million represent on the rollover value for 2024?
That's the resident and open space value. Resident and open space, RO.
Why is it only 35 million? It was 4 billion or something on the other page.
That's just the new growth, amount of new growth when you add up all, and that's not the entire town.
So 35.7 million is new growth for 2024?
That's just in value, not in taxes. 35 million in value.
Mm-hmm.
So when you add up everything, the houses, the condos, the office buildings, comes to 35 million.
That's the new growth assessment.
Value,
right.
Yes.
And what is the 496,000 in rollover growth?
That's the tax dollars.
That's the tax dollars.
Yes. And then the 592 is the additional tax dollars to get you 1 million. 592 representing the commercial, industrial, personal property.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. This is just a history of the single families and the condos. It's just showing it's pretty consistent throughout. A certain amount seems to be every year. This chart just depicts What I'd like to focus on that is this average single-family tax bill, and where Foxborough is, it sits nicely in the middle of all these other towns, which I think is interesting. And, you know, compared to some of these single taxpayer towns that have a much higher tax bill, like Norfolk and Sharon, for instance. This is just more of a chart showing that Foxborough is in the middle of the pack again, as far as their residential tax rate. And this is from last year. And the commercial tax rate on the following page, because this is commercial, industrial, and personal property, obviously.
Tom, did you look at the growth in rates in other towns compared to Foxborough year over year?
The new growth, or?
The rates, the
Tax
increase?
rates?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up, I think.
Okay.
You'll see that.
Okay.
Actually, it's a slide right here, it's the tax rates.
Yeah, should have peeked ahead.
So this is from last year. As you can see, Foxborough is pretty much in the middle of the pack here as well. And as I indicated before, Sharon and, actually the other one's not on here. But they have a higher tax rate because they're not shifting the tax rate. There it is on there, yeah, Sharon and Norfolk. So for 2024, we're proposing a 4.7% increase to the residential tax rate, average $370 increase on the tax bill, and moving the shift to 1.25% on the residential side. On the commercial side, it would be a 1.3% increase, but they would pay a higher amount of $518 on their bill at the 1.25%. And the industrial would increase by $161 at 1% increase. The shift carries on all the classes. This is basically the same thing, but in a different format, just so you get an understanding of what we're proposing. This is a shift table showing all the different shifts in the area. And it's interesting to show that Foxborough actually, of all the towns that shift, they shift the least amount as of last year. So we are proposing a slight shift increase this year to help with the residential tax bill, because everything is going so high on the residential side. We thought it would be fair to give the residents a little bit of a break. Last year, the commercial got a little bit of a break. This is our worksheet, just how we come up with the average increases by the tax bill. And based on an overall value increase of 12% for residential and only 3% for the commercial class, the Board of Assessors recommended the 1.25 shift from the 1.22 to maintain an average residential increase. And then there's the rest of the slides here, which is basically for reference. This is the big slide that we work from DOR. It's called the Gateway, and it has all the different splits and variations. And we use that to come up with our worksheet to narrow it down, because it's just overwhelming with what we're looking at there. So, in summary, the Select Board must select a minimum residential factor to set the tax rate. The Board of Assessors recommends the 0.9388 to 1.25 shift, and to decline the additional split options. This would set a tax rate of $13.51, a 70-cent decrease for the residential, and $17.99, a 38-cent decrease for the commercial and industrial personal property. The LA5 excess capacity for the year would be $13,602.
What is that, Tom, the LA5?
The LA5 is this is what shows all the splits. It's in the Gateway.
Mm-hmm.
It's just another form that we have to use to come up with that 0.9388.
Okay.
And that's where it indicates the excess capacity on the levy. So with that, any questions I can take?
So we just threw out a lot of numbers, just
Yes.
for everyone at home, because now we understand it, I think, or I do just a little bit better. We're reducing the rate, but people's tax bills will go up because of the assessed value.
I mean, A lot of them will, yeah.
In summary, like in layman's summary.
A lot of them will. It all depends on the property. Every
Okay.
property is different because some people might have put an addition on, and some people might have let their property go. So there's all kinds of variables that go in there, but in general, yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's a key message for the community. Tax rate generally down, valuations up, so the total amount of taxes will increase on average.
Yeah, that's what the $370 represents on average.
Right.
The taxpayer can expect that on an average house.
But shifting more to commercial so that there's less of a burden on the residential
Correct.
as well.
Right.
Can I take just a second? I took some time with this today, and because I just really needed to make sense for me, so I understood what we were talking about. But if I could just take a minute to help folks at home and maybe folks on the board with the understanding of this. So earlier, Tom showed a slide that showed that the value of the residential assessment was about 80% of the total value in town, okay? So what these the shifts and the factors are all doing is reducing the amount that residential will pay of the total tax bill. So what Tom is proposing and what we may accept, we may or may not accept, is that, as we mentioned, 80% is residential. The shift would bring the amount of tax that the residential sector pays down to about 75.5%. So from 80% to 75 or so, that's about 5 points, right? And the actual dollar impact of that, if the total levy is $60 million, or the $60.5 million, the impact to the residential sector would be about $3 million bucks. So of the 60 million, residential would be 48.6 million if there was no shift. With the shift, the residential tax bill in aggregate goes to 45.6, so almost exactly $3 million. So all the shifting and the residential factors and everything means $3 million from residential over to commercial and industrial.
And then I think it's helpful for me, at least another piece just to call out, the new tax rate would be 13.51 for residential, which would actually be a 70-cent decrease over last year. And the commercial would be at $17.99, which would be 38-cent decrease from the year before. And that's for commercial, industrial, and personal property.
Yes. Right, so we're paying less per $1,000 of assessed value on our homes, but because our homes had a higher assessment year over year, tax bills go up.
Mm-hmm. And on the flip side, commercial folks are paying a higher rate than residents to lessen that burden as well.
Effectively, yes.
Great. Good summary, both you guys. Thank you. That helped a little bit.
I'm going to chime in. So I get all the numbers, but what I do want to stress is that I know the market is going to tell us what our values are, but I said the same exact sentence last year. If you're not selling your home, the value means nothing. Now, I've lived in town for 25 years. Last year, my taxes went up the highest they've ever gone. And so I just think we need to be conscious of what we're spending, what our budget is, because I know that's what also drives this, because we need that money. But the average person does not get 4% and 5% raises that we give a lot of our employees. All great people, well-deserved, but to make our budget, to make the money we need, to make our budget, hurts a lot of people in town. Now, that number to me is over 600,000. For that to be the average sale price is crazy. And I'd love to know, I mean, I live in Summerfield, the 2-bedroom homes there, okay? The houses in there are going over 600,000. But I wonder if, like, do you guys track, I'm sure you probably do you track, what the sales are? Are they bigger homes that are driving that number
Yeah,
up?
the sales prices are for, a lot
mean,
of them are
obviously.
new homes, and a lot of
Yeah.
them are improved homes, so that's
Yeah.
why that's higher than our average value.
Yeah.
It's just like 625.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, the fact that the number's gonna go down 70 cents, that sounds great, but when the values have gone up so much, and you're talking, I mean, my tax bill, I think, would, quarterly would be an average of $45 to $50. Last year, I went up over 200. What I had been paying for the year, so instead of my taxes going up 2 to 250, my taxes went up 820 last year. And it looks like those numbers are gonna force that again. So I understand you guys are figuring these numbers out by the numbers, but I think we need to be realistic that these numbers are hurting a lot of people in
Well,
town.
that's why we're suggesting to shift more onto the commercial, because we know it's very high for the residential.
Yeah. Well, but the shift is still gonna bring us another 400, an average of $400. Like I said, I get the numbers, I know the numbers are, and the numbers are gonna force what they're gonna be, but, it's hurting a lot of people. I mean, we haven't bounced back, and also, I'm wondering, with the sales going down now because of the interest rates, so we're gonna go up. Will that then bring the value down a little bit next year, do you think?
I don't think so, not yet.
Based on,
Not yet, no.
well, you're gonna base that on sales, so if there
Yes.
aren't as many sales.
We have to, based
It's
on
gonna-
Mass
yeah.
General Law, we have to use
Yeah,
the sales.
yeah, I know you guys aren't just making these numbers up, but what I'm saying is, a lot of people are not gonna be happy. And a lot of people got hurt big last year, and I think are gonna get hurt big again this year. So I just wanna throw that out there. I know you guys are generating the numbers by what you have, but a lot of this comes from what we're spending on a budget in town as well, to make those numbers. So I think we have to be very conscious of that.
I just wanted to add, Stephanie, that one of the caps on spending here is the proposition 2.5, where the limit is, outside of new growth, is 2.5. So taxes for property taxes cannot rise in aggregate greater than 2.5%. So even though assessed values are rising, if all assessed values rose at the same rate, like everybody's house rose the same rate, our tax bill couldn't increase by more than 2.5%, basically. So there is that governor or control on the rise in revenue.
I think your tax bill your tax bill can be more
Yeah,
than
the 2.5% is for the entire
It's the
town.
entire town.
Well, but that would mean,
Yeah.
that say if my property increased wildly in
Yeah.
value and someone else's declined, then it would be, it's a zero-sum game. So I would pay more, someone else would pay less, because 2.5 is the cap on the overall total.
Yeah, but my point is, for the average taxpayer, that home value means nothing unless you're selling your house. Because that just means your taxes have gone up. You're in the same house you've always been in.
But those-
And I get it, that's what drives it. I just want us, we have budget season coming up, so that's why I'm saying it
It's a tough
too.
balancing act between, the budget that has to be fulfilled and to meet those obligations. And I
Yep.
think this year, the board, working with Tom and whatnot, really tried to figure out what's the least hurtful to the individual residents.
Oh, yeah, you guys have to come up with a number that's
there-
gonna meet the budget, but I think we really need to try to be as lean as we can, because the last couple of years, a lot of people in town are hurting.
That's a discussion, I think, for next month.
Yeah, but it all stems here. We're gonna make decisions on what these numbers are based on our budget. That's where they're coming from. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm having a deja vu to last year's discussion, and it's not all bad, the increased valuations of property. You can borrow against that. You can do an in-law apartment. I mean, it's a lot of options that people have because of those increased values. And if you want to downsize at the top of the market and really buy something less, you don't need all that space, you can make that. You have to pay the capital gains, but you can make that profit as well if you really have to pay the capital gains. So it's not all negative. I appreciate on average, it's not helpful to the majority of people, but it's not a total negative either. Valuations going up.
Can I just
I think for most people, it's neutral. Sorry, Marie.
Don't go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for most people, it's neutral, because on average, their value rises the same rate as everyone else's value. And so their taxes on average probably go up 2.5%. Is that a fair statement, or is that?
Well, 2.5% is for the entire town.
I know, but what I'm saying is if values, if my house increases in value at the same rate as everyone else's house,
On your street, yeah, but that's.
no reason, or if mine goes up, then someone else's is going down necessarily, right? You can't have one go up by 10% and someone else.
Well, like I said, it all depends, you can't split it down to house by house.
I get it.
I know,
I'm just trying to make a point that house valuations increasing are not really, they're not a negative per se, because
Oh, I-
taxes are limited. So increasing valuations are more neutral for virtually everybody in town. I don't know how they'd be a negative unless, you know, it's a negative for, but if your house increases in value, you pay more taxes, right? But it's all relative, and it's not a negative for most people or a positive. It's a neutral.
I just wanted to add, the way the tax bills work is your first, second quarters are estimated bills. Your Q3 and Q4 are based on your actual value, so you'll often see the increases in the Q3 and Q4 tax bills. That's just something else I wanted to note.
Making up for the first two. All right, let's do those motions.
Well, it is a public hearing, so
Oh.
is there anyone here in the audience
Thank you.
that has comment? Okay. Motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right. So the first motion is related to the split that we've been talking about. So motion pursuant to General Law, Chapter 40, 56, to maintain the split tax rate and adopt a residential factor of .9388 for fiscal year 2024.
Second.
Any further discussion?
So this would take the shift from the 1.25 to .9388.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's what it means.
No, the factor is the same as the shift, it's just.
Oh,
just
okay.
another
Factor and
way-
the shift, like, work together somehow? I mean,
It's just another, the state requires you to use the factor when you do the motion.
Okay, so the factor is the 0.9388.
8, yep.
All right, all those in favor?
I had a, for discussion, how did we come upon, so it looks like you just picked the midpoint of no shift to 1.5, 1.25? Is there any science behind that, or how did we come to?
Well, if you had kept the same shift as last year, commercial would get like a $400 tax break. So we moved it up so that commercial would actually pay, in proportion to what the residential is. So, and that was at the 125.
So last year, how much did we shift from residential to commercial? Do we know that, or, I mean, I know we can figure it out, but.
It was .94, I can't remember the last two
Yeah, that-
digits, but I was looking at it earlier.
Right.
So this year, we're proposing a $3 million shift from residential to commercial, and last year was something else.
It was 1.22.
1.22 was last year.
1.22 million.
No, 1%, the shift,
Shift,
the shift
shift.
percentage.
So how much did we shift? How many dollars of?
Oh, I don't have that number.
Okay.
Don't have it.
That would be good to know, just so we know if we're consistent, or last year we shifted $1 million, or $4 million, $5 million. I'm fine with this. It feels very arbitrary to me, but I'm not opposed to it.
They can get it to us, we'll get it.
Yeah, okay.
All right, all those in favor? Good.
Good stuff. Vote.
Steph?
I'm going to abstain. I mean, I'm going to vote no. I'm going to vote no. I'm just going to vote no, because I feel like we're given all this information and then we're voting without even taking it in a little bit more. So I'm going to abstain. I'm going to abstain.
Do we have to vote on it this evening? Timing wise?
I mean, we have deadlines and tax bills and all kinds of things, yeah, that we have to, we would like to move it forward. We think it's a good proposal. I mean,
Had you met with them, vote your questions at all?
No,
before tonight?
no. I mean, you guys can go ahead and vote. I got a couple of people, I remember last year said, you guys get everything, and boom, you just voted, didn't take any time, so I'm gonna abstain myself. You guys can vote if you
Yeah,
want.
I mean, just to make
Yeah.
sure though that, we don't just come up here and get it right now. Like, we've had this information to reflect on, and like Seth said, he had a meeting with them, so I don't want the public perception to be that we get this 10 minutes ago and vote on it, because that's certainly not the case, I think everyone looks into it in advance and makes sure they do their homework, so I just don't want that to be the perception and really want to clarify that.
And the presentation hasn't materially changed since last year's presentation. Yeah, update it. in
Just
terms
update
of-
the statistics, basically,
Right,
and,
right.
any new information I give you. So.
All right, we have to vote on 3 more things, though.
Yep.
Okay.
So is that one's good?
We already voted.
Okay.
4-1, 1 abstain.
Okay. All right, so motion to vote no on the open space exemption.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Motion to vote no on the residential exemption, sorry.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
And last, motion to vote no on the small commercial exemption.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? All right, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. I think we're going right into finance.
Oh.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you
All
to your
right,
committee
so
as
next
well.
on the agenda is we try to every meeting have a department update. Starting us off this year is finance.
Thanks.
I was like, it can't be 9 o'clock.
No.
I already sent Katie a text and I said we gotta change that clock, but it's tough to look at.
Whoa.
We're a little behind, but not that far.
Yeah, right.
That's not 9. Mine's 8 o'clock.
I was like, whoa.
We'll be quick.
All right.
So I guess we'll go through and introduce ourselves. So once again, I'm Maria Almodovar, the finance director.
I'm Brandon Roberts, the assistant finance director.
Brendan, just move the mic in front of you a little more.
I'm stealing you over here.
Brandon Roberts, the assistant finance director.
There you go.
Tom Welch, chief assessor.
Paula Maloney, collector treasurer.
So we are the finance team. We're the department that's responsible for ensuring that the town is being fiscally responsible and in compliance with all federal, state, local bylaws and regulations. So what I'll do is I'll turn it over to Tom for his, so each of us will go through and give a presentation on our individual divisions. So first up is Tom.
So just a few things that update you what's been going on, and the first one's related to the tax rate. We've had earlier approval working with the DOR on our sales review and our new growth for DOR. And as I indicated previously in the presentation, new growth positively affected by our expanded inspection program. We established a new online assessor database access, eliminating the Vision website, and saves the town $4,000 a year from the Vision website that we no longer need. It's all integrated in the GIS, which we think is a really good system. You can actually click on your house and get your property record card right from it, and that's exactly what we use with all the detail in it. We've done over 1,200 inspections this year towards that goal, and we talked about that earlier. We're right on target to where we need to be. And we signed a 5-year revaluation contract with our appraisal vendor for this year, for FY25, and it will start in February 2024, so everything's moving along nicely in the assessor's office.
And just to clarify, people starting in February 2024 may see people out, walking around or somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, we always have that. We always have people out in the field, but there'll be probably a few more consultants, because we're gonna be doing personal property inspections for all 600 plus accounts or whatever it is, because this is a certification year. They have to visit everybody. On an interim year, they'll only do new accounts. But this is a certification, it's personal property, they'll be coming to all businesses. And then a vision appraisal will also be doing more. Yeah, so there will be more people out in the field.
So then, I just wanted to just communicate to the public what all of us do in finance. So under the finance umbrella, we handle the property valuations, revenue collections, the issuance of debt, the accounting, procurement, investing, maintaining long-term liabilities, the budgeting, payroll, benefits, tax billing. There's a lot that's under the finance department. And I just want to give major props to the the staff here. You know, without them, I mean, we'd be in trouble. These guys they know their jobs very well. They want to do a good job. They do a good job. They're dedicated. The people below all of us are the same way. I think we have a really exceptional team. So, just thank you guys. I know a lot of our work doesn't always get recognized, but what we all do is very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with that said, I just wanted to, so finance doesn't always have a big wow factor, but we do have some really good news to share. So, so on our first try, the town won the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. Now this is an award from the Government Finance Officers Association. I'm just reading off of the press release here. So this award is the highest form of recognition in governmental budgeting. Its attainment represents a significant achievement by the organization, and in order to receive the award, a governmental unit must publish a budget document that meets program criteria as a policy document, financial plan, operations guide, and a communications device. And I just wanted to say, thank you. I mean, this was a team effort. The department heads all put a lot of work into it. I had the help of the Collins Center. They have an awesome graphic arts team there that really, made this book look amazing. I think it's a really big accomplishment. Now, we don't get a fancy award, so I don't have something to show you guys. But I'm really proud of, the work that went into it. And now that we have essentially a template going forward, it's just maintaining it. And the hope is to continue to go for this award every single year after that. And obviously with having Brandon here, it's going to be a great help. Hoping to spend a little less of my time on it. One of the other awards that the town, I know Doc, you stopped by my office earlier, back in the 90s, the GFOA has another award. It's the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting. And it essentially so you take your financial statements that are prepared by your auditors and you prepare another set of subsequent statements, which has data going back 10 years. And for that one, you do get an award. So hopefully one day, we could try going for that one. It is a lot of work. But for right now, I'm proud that we got the GFOA Budget Book Award. I know that was something that Bill Keegan was aiming for. I just talked to him yesterday. I said, if you had only stuck around a little longer. Like I said, this winning the award just shows that we have, so the reviewers, they look at your financial policies, they look at your budget process, they look at your entire thing, and they criticize you heavily. So the fact that we did win the award on our first try is a big achievement. And it just goes to show you that, the town is in very good financial shape. And I think this award proves that. And, with this team here and our, very strong and capable department heads, the plan is to continue that, strong financial management and just continue to make improvements where needed. So enough about that.
No. Go ahead, Seth.
So when I first heard about the GFOA award years ago, I said, I thought to myself, that's amazing. That's something to shoot for. And so, I talked to Marie about it in the past, and I knew that she was working toward it, and I knew that Marie and team were working toward it, and I knew we would achieve it. I thought 3-4 years down the road, we would chunk it out and incrementally improve until we got there. And I never imagined it would be first year. When I look at the criteria, they are extensive, detailed, and challenging. And the fact that we did it already is really impressive. So kudos to the team. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the efforts.
Thank you.
When I went down to visit Maria, I'm like, so where's the plaque? Where are we going to put it up? Come on, we want a picture in the paper. Where he said, no, fortunately not that.
So Marie, is this one organization a year gets this award, or are there?
No, it's essentially whoever submits it. They've had, I believe, 1,700. So in the history of the program, they've had over 1,700 participants. And I looked at, they haven't updated their website, but the last year that they have up there was the 2022 year, and there were only 2 municipalities in Massachusetts that obtained the award. Now, what happened a couple years ago is that the GFOA changed their criteria, placing an emphasis on strategic planning and goals and things like that. We knew that ahead of time, so, you know, going back a year ago, when I put together the templates to send out to department heads, we incorporated a lot of the criteria that was mandatory. And obviously, you know, it was a lot of work, you know. Once again, huge credit to the department heads, you know, for working with us on this. And I mean, once they publish that list, I can share with you guys, you know, who else in the state. But I know a lot of the previous award winners didn't get the award again because they didn't update their books. So essentially, it's an evolving document that we'll have to, you know, update every year just to make sure that we're meeting that, you know, mandatory criteria. And you have to. The scale is essentially, it's a 1 to 4, 4 being excellent. You have to get at least proficient, which is a 3, in all of the mandatory categories. There's like 18 of them.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the first item on here, I'm kind of skipping around. So the first item we have on here is, so the FY22 audit. That was completed earlier this year, back around March. We had another clean audit. I did want to note, so the current firm that we have, they'll be performing our fiscal year 23 and fiscal year 24 audit, and then we'll go out to do an RFP for a new firm. So they'll be around for a couple more years. Fiscal year 23 has been closed. Our balance sheet was submitted and certified. Our free cash ended up coming out to $6,714,841, which is it's 28.5% higher than last year. Last year was $5,223,577. So once again, that's another number that shows, you know, the town is doing very well financially. Right now, our fiscal year 23 audit is in the early stages. Right now, we're just bombarding our auditors with reports and various files that we have to prepare for that. After today, Tom and I will be able to finalize the tax recap and get our tax rate certified, and then from that, Paula and her team will be able to initiate the billing. And then, let me see, the next piece, so Brandon, I know you guys met him a month or so ago. So now he's been here a little over 3 months. He's been a huge addition to the team. You know, he's really taking on a lot of our procurement, which is one of our, the big areas for, I don't want to say, I guess how to, procurement is a very important area. There are a lot of federal and state procurement laws that we have to follow, and we're essentially at the point where, so back in 2021, we were able to leverage funding within our budget, and we created 2 new positions. Back then it was the procurement administrator and benefits administrator. So we've taken that procurement administrator position, and working with a consultant, we've cleaned up a lot of our policies and procedures as far as procurement goes. Now we're at the point where, with Brandon here and, you know, his background being heavy in procurement, you know, we're basically taking our policies and procedures and making sure that they're in line with the federal and state laws. And that's been a bit of a process, but we're getting there. Definitely, I'm proud of where we are now from back when I first started. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I think you pretty much summed it up. I mean, just being from the outside, I guess my eyes are sort of a fresh look on everything and see if there's opportunity for improvements and make some recommended changes over the course. So I'm still in the fact-finding phase essentially, but kind of go from there.
And then one of the big things we've been working on for what seems forever is our financial system upgrade. We had a major system upgrade. A lot of that work fell on finance. Naturally, it is our financial system. But we went live back in the middle of September. We're still working out some of the kinks, a couple of the issues, but overall it's functioning. We're able to do what we need to do for the most part. But I mean, that happens with any major system upgrade. I mean, it's expected that, it will take a while before, everything's running at 100%. What was the other piece? So I think just a reminder, so the financial summit is next month. I didn't want to get into too much of the numbers just because, I'll leave that for later on, but I figured, giving you guys an update on the free cash. At that summit, we plan on, obviously, we'll cover the revenue projections. I know you wanted to see numbers on potential debt exclusions for roads and sidewalks. We're also doing running numbers on the DPW facility renovation. So we'll plan on covering those items at the financial summit. And then I think that covers about everything that I had. Like I said, a lot of what we do is sort of behind the scenes. But we do the best we can every day just to make sure that, everything is running smooth and efficiently. So I will be quiet now.
Speaking of the financial summit, though, where that's coming up, and that's in less than a month, I think, now.
Yep.
Do you feel like the time that we have, is sufficient? Do we feel like we've got...
Yes, it's the timeline that we have now is perfect because once we finalize the tax recap, the fiscal year 24 budget is finalized, and that's essentially your starting point for the next year's projections. So I think that early December timeframe is perfect, just because, like I said, the numbers are final. At that point, we're almost halfway through the fiscal year, so we could see the trends and the revenues and the spending. So I think it's a good time to have it.
That's a good question, because I was thinking, weren't we doing it in October?
Yeah, we were, but then we had that weird year with the tax rate where then everything was jammed, so I just want to make sure that we're back on track.
When we decided it, we all
So we're all doing
talked to
comfy.
Marie about the best place to put that.
Okay, and AdCom's confirmed and school committee are confirmed, everyone's all okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'll have the budget calendar will be ready for the summit as well, so we'll know the dates for everything. And then next up, I'll kick it over to Paula.
Okay, usual stuff this time of year. We do open enrollment for the retirees for the Medicare supplements. We're cleaning up records for Affordable Care Act, reporting that has to be done in March. All the retiree, the health insurance rate changes have to be done with Norfolk County Retirement and Mass Teachers. New staff training and new system training. We have a new assistant treasurer collector and basically 2 new collections coordinators. They've been here since February, March. So, everyone's doing really well, picking up everything great. Tax collections are going very well. Real estate, we're at 94% for FY24. Personal property, we're at 96. Senior tax credit, we're putting together that list along with the Council on Aging. And I think it looks like there's quite a few more than last year. We don't have the final list yet, but we'll do that payroll on November 20th, and then that will get put into the new tax bills. Water lien letters have gone out. Actually, the water department did them this year for the first time because they have in the new system, there's a new mail merge that you can do right out of. And so we used to have to bring it all into an Excel and then create a mail merge. And So it actually worked out kind of nice, and the water department volunteered to do that. All those are due to be, well, we put a due date of 11/15, so hopefully we'll collect a bunch of that, not have to put as much on the tax bills. And then we'll get rolling with, once the tax rate gets set, now we can do all this stuff that goes into getting the tax bills done, created, put into the accounts receivable system, all the exemptions done. Get them out and get them mailed.
Like that.
That's about it.
That's it. Any questions, comments?
Well,
Congrats again on the award.
all right, congrats.
I know you said it was the first time you've been working for a while to get us ready, like you said, so.
That's great. Awesome. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too.
All right, update on the town manager search. The screening committee has been formed, as you guys know. They have a meeting set for November 20th. Bernie's just going to sit down with everybody, talk what the process is all about. And then they'll start reviewing applications, which they have a due date of to be in by the 16th. Acting town manager's update.
It's me. Well, I was going to mention the award that Marie just mentioned, but no need. She gets all the credit for that. We do have another award I wanted to mention. I was informed last week that our health director was recognized. So Matt Brennan won the John D. Crowley Award. This award is in honor of a late John D. Crowley, and who rendered distinguished service to the Massachusetts Health Officers Association. This award is given annually to a regular member of the Massachusetts Health Officers Association who contributes to the growth and success of the organization through outstanding leadership and extraordinary service. So we've certainly seen that side of Matt, locally here in Foxborough, but I was very impressed to hear that he's been acknowledged in a statewide organization that really has noticed that Matt's pretty awesome. So I just wanted to make sure you all knew that. Katie has been handling licensing, not the matrix, but the actual common vics and liquors and all that. She's been handling that. She sent out over 200 renewals last week, and with a new software. So she pursued the resolution of all the bugs and all the things. I used the term relentless, which she was questioning whether that was a positive. I meant it in such a positive because I heard her on the phone with the software people, and she just worked so hard for the weeks coming up to it to get those bugs out so that when it went live, there were as few problems. And what did you had raised over $18,000 in the first couple days. It's probably more now, but as you know, it's a high volume, and not many communities have 200 plus licenses, so it is something very unique to Foxborough. And our new permitized software this year has been a challenge because it's new, but hopefully by next year it'll be smooth. But Katie's really handled it.
When I came up to town hall the other day, I asked Katie about that. So I said, did it make it easier? And she looked at me. No, but it will be next year.
It will be, exactly. Hydrant flushing, they're starting zone 5 tomorrow, and that will wrap it up for the year. We're getting close to ice, they said, and ice isn't good when you're flushing hydrants. So, a couple, I don't know how long it is, a week or so of zone 5, and then they'll be moving on. We have a couple ribbon cuttings tomorrow. The Tri-Town Chamber is actually hosting this, and it's at 225 Foxborough Boulevard for Northeast Health Services. And they're a leading Massachusetts mental health provider. So another Foxborough business coming to town, that's great. And then the latest is Joe's Butcher in Bay. They're opening on Saturday. The grand opening is at 10 a.m. Doc's going to be there for a ribbon cutting. So we're all very excited. That's at 31 Wall Street. So if anybody needs great cuts of meat or seafood, check out our newest Uptown business that we're very excited to welcome. We did receive a grant for $90,000. I know this board knows about that. This is something I applied for, in the spring, and I forgot about it actually. And it was to help assist with the MBTA communities requirement. Since that time, I actually got another grant that has been helping with that. So it will be interesting. And I should say that I met today with Barney Overett, Gabby Jordan, the consultant, and me to talk about MBTA communities, and we're about ready to bring forward a proposal. I was thinking, and you guys are so busy, but it almost makes sense to do something with the planning board, we want to give daylight to this. Like, we've come up with a proposal to bring forward with district locations and some language, working with Barney, our zoning expert, but it's time to get it out in daylight, so how to best bring it forward. I could bring it to the planning board, but that's just a group, so if there was a way for this group and the planning board to kind of do something publicly, I think that would be a good way, because we're literally just giving it a shot here and seeing what happens. It will be coming to town meeting in May. I do anticipate a lot of concerns and questions. Everybody knows that. We've got to give it a shot. We've got to try it. So stay tuned for that. I will be looking to maybe try to schedule a joint meeting. I don't know whether we do a work session as part of a select board meeting. I don't know that we'd have time in that. We might need a separate one, but I know that's asking a lot with all you have going on. So Doc's hearing this for the first time, but that's something that just came up this afternoon. We'll have to figure out how to approach this. But obviously we want input, and this is a resident discussion as opposed to staff. This is really got to come from the residents, knowing that it's something we technically need to try to do. So 131 Moore Street, that's another one. As you know, that's the summit casting and the dam. Survey work is going to begin around there this week. And I just spoke to Matt Brennan right before this meeting, and I think I spoke to Leah about it last week, that I think we also need to have a community forum on that project, because we are going to have to come to town meeting to discuss the ownership of Summit Casting, and the dam removal is a big issue. So I'm thinking that sometime, maybe January, February, we try to get stakeholders involved and just do an informational session. We're not going to have all the answers, but we're being told we might own it. Town meeting might have to vote on it. There's going to be a lot of questions. We know the dam's being removed. There's a question of what that will do to the waterways around there. So I feel like this needs to be publicly discussed and disclosed, because it's sort of another one of those things that's happening sort of to us. And, what do we want to talk about around that, and make sure as many people know what's happening. There's a Veterans Day tribute happening at the high school on Saturday at 11. It's 11/11 at 11 a.m. And it's going to include a speech by Pastor Bill Dudley, and they're going to pay tribute to Jack Othelette, who was a U.S. Army veteran. And an FHS student will be singing the national anthem, and the serenading seniors will also be singing. So it sounds like a great day. I always mention the financial summit. And then the Pratt School, the bids are due tomorrow at 11 a.m. We have received a couple already. With respect to human resources, kind of busy there. Paige Eppolito started last Monday. She's fit in really well. She's been meeting with all sorts of departments, handling all the things HR that I was handling for a couple months. It's been a pleasure to have someone who actually knows what they're doing, do it. So that's great. We do have a communications position posted, and we've been doing some reworking of job things. So we've changed, Katie, as you see, is here now. She's taking over the select board, so that previously we had it split amongst two administrative assistants. This way we're going to have Katie handle the select board, and we're going to have another person handle communications, and that will, we think, it will streamline efforts. And so moving forward, that's what we're going to be trying to do there. The health department is still looking for their health inspector, and there's an assistant assessor's position open in the assessor's office due to a departure. And then a construction update, South Street and Cedar Street, raw water main. That's, they've reached the 495 bridge on South Street, and I think I might have mentioned this, they're now relocating to Witch Pond and Cedar Street, and then they'll start working back to 495. The trees have been ordered for East and Cocasset Street, and they should go in later this week. Striping is tentatively scheduled for November 12th, weather dependent. And we're still awaiting the contractors awaiting the delivery of the pedestrian flashing beacon for installation. The Glue Factory West, so that's the one I already mentioned. They're going to be doing a survey around the dam this week, and we got a grant for this work, so that's another grant we've gotten. Crack sealing of 41 County Street, the commuter lot, is going to be occurring. DPW is meeting with the environmental construction for Mass EPA and DEP to discuss crack sealing there. They want to make sure there's a cap think with the landfill or something there, so they have to make sure there's no soil exposure through cracks, so we have to make sure that that does not seep through. So.
Silly question, but is there still something running back and forth between the train station and that lot?
Probably not much. No one's really using it.
Right, so is it still active?
I don't think
even
so.
know.
No, I don't think so. I think with Gatra Go, I think the whole model has changed. I think if people need it, not that I'm aware of, I can follow up on that, but I do not believe so, because every time I drive by there, there's no cars there. So I can't imagine that they're still providing service. I know Gatra's having a lot of trouble getting drivers, so I can't imagine that service, but I can follow
And
up on
I
that.
do know that a citizen had reached out to us a while ago, just about concern about that empty lot and it being used for what it's not supposed to be using it for. So maybe if it's not, can we look at, are there any safety things we could do as far as gates, or, I don't know, just keeping it aware since someone had reached out to us.
Okay, yeah, we
at
can
one
put that
point.
on a tickler file, take a look at it. I mean, honestly, I haven't paid attention
Yeah.
to it, so I'll, look into what's going on out there and make sure. I mean, I only don't drive by there that often, but I've just never seen any cars there. And then the Mass DOT has been doing paving. You probably noticed the scarified pavement. The structures, oh, that's a bummer. The structures are gonna be adjusted tonight, so that means we might have the manholes raised. That's always a pain. It's an obstacle course. And then they'll be paving it on Mill and Central Streets, scheduled for November 15th and 16th, tentatively, subject to change. And that's all I have.
All right, so under Selectmen's update, just to mention, we mentioned a couple of times the budget meeting. That is going to be December 5th. It's at 6 o'clock here. Got a notice from the Kraft group that they signed Kenny Chesney to come back. He loves Foxborough. Right now, it's Friday, August 23rd, 2024, but he usually ends up doing a second date somewhere down the road. Anything else for Selectmen's update? No? Okay. That's it for me too. Action items.
Motion to appoint Charlotte Jones to the Board of Registrars for a term to end May 1st, 2025.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to approve the additional events of the MIIA High School Football Championships on November 29th, November 30th, and December 1st to be played at One Patriot Place to the Kraft Sports and Entertainment 2023 Annual Entertainment License.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
Fingers crossed Foxborough bites it.
Go, Foxboro.
One down, two to go. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to appoint Dan Peterson as the Advisory Committee Representative to the Personnel Board for a term to end June 30th, 2025.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
We're going to hold off on 10.4. We just don't have all the information yet, so we're going to postpone that 2
Okay.
weeks.
So moving ahead to 10.5, which are our minutes, we have two. Motion to approve the October 10th, 2023 Select Board minutes.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And motion to approve the October 24th, 2023 Select Board minutes.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And then just last, a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? There we go. Good night, everybody.
Nice.
Thank you.